When a lot of people think of oak, it's not oak burl that first comes to mind. And in fact, a lot of people think the only kind of burl is walnut burl, at least automotively speaking. But Bentley did use back in the 90s and perhaps before alternative woods to walnut burl, this being one of them. This is a late 90s Continental T. It's a coupe, a little higher performance coupe, and the wood is oak burl. So for those who are not familiar with an alternative burl besides walnut burl, here's an example, and it obviously is a rich gold color. We had the previous or the before video indicating that just visually observing it, we knew there was going to be a great improvement in clarity and color and of course gloss. These are the door caps. They're long for a coupe. Not all the wood is here. We did send the dealership a few pieces earlier, and so the main part of the dash is not here, but the console, this is the upper console that would go up between the left and right side of the car, coming down to here, and these two caps here are the rear quarter caps, which follow behind the doors in the back seat, in the shortened back seat. This particular interior is enhanced with Bentley logos at the factory at the time. We have to remove those and then tape them off while we're cleaning them or spraying them and finishing them and then replacing them. In the earlier video, it was apparent that there were quite a few cracks on sections of the car. The instrument fascias, or pardon me, the instrument fascia is not here, but it was one. The console fascias, these two surrounds for speakers in the door. The doors themselves and the rear quarter caps are pretty much free of cracks. And so what we did in order to glue this down, in order to reestablish the bond of the veneer to the substrate, which is critical before finishing, we go ahead and use a process that we've developed with a certain type of adhesive epoxy and vacuum pressure in order to saturate the stripped piece of veneer, and it then takes care of these puckers. These darker lines right here were areas that had lifted and cracked the original finish. So if those aren't somehow rejoined to the substrate permanently, you're going to have a potential for more cracking in those same exact places in short term. So we address that by the aforementioned epoxy treatment in vacuum. And so this and all the fascias, in fact, were treated that way prior to finishing. As good as this wood looks now, and it's true of any of the trim pieces that are reveneered or refinished, whatever it is, no matter how good they look in a shop or a studio, they look so much better once they're reinstalled, because then they blend harmoniously with the leather and the other components of the interior as they were designed to. But on their own, these are pretty spectacular pieces.